Welcome traders to the next video inside our Alpha Traders community. On this video, I'm gonna show you how to apply every tool that you have learned so far in order to do your technical analysis properly and maybe find a possible entry. Alright, so without further ado, let's jump onto my computer. So here we are, and I've removed all the support and resistance and the trend lines we had throughout the video series, because I don't want to have any type of influence whatsoever in my decisions now where to place its support and its resistance whenever doing our top-down analysis. I mentioned multiple times that the overall picture of the market will be spotted in the daily and weekly time frame, and a smaller picture on the 4-hour and 1-hour. Alright, so for us to know the overall direction of the pair, we should start on the weekly time frame and then go down to the daily time frame and continue gathering out the confluences in order to probably or possibly find enough confluences in order to place a trade in whatever direction the market is setting up to. Alright, so whenever we're now on a weekly time frame, and when you go to the weekly time frame, you have to know or have to remember that this is a lot of data. So if you go all the way to the left, you can see back in 2016. So this is 3 years of data, and I don't think that you should be considering that much data. Okay, let's keep it simple. Again, it's pretty simple, but it's not easy. So I would take a look on this part right here from, I would say, mid 2018 up to date. And the first thing that I can see, I don't know, it's clear enough, but I will highlight. So the first thing that I can see clearly when I get to GBPUSD, it's that we found support once, and if you look on the left, there was a resistance twice. Okay, I told you not to look at the left, but what I'm trying to say is that this overall picture here, it's an inverted head and shoulders, and you know it's a possible inverted head and shoulders, and we know that whenever a possible inverted head and shoulder is present, there is a support on the left shoulder, okay, for the possible right shoulder to form. So that's why I knew there was a possible support around 1.27080. All right, again, since this is an inverted head and shoulder, this is the left shoulder, this will be the head, and this will be the possible right shoulder. Again, we all know market structures, and there's also a support playing out on the head. So let me try to erase all of this drawings and start placing the rectangles for support and resistance inside our pair. So I'll start placing a small support around 1.27, okay? And remember, this is a weekly time frame, so all areas and ranges should be placed small, because whenever you go to a smaller time frame, those boxes will be huge, okay? And one thing also, whenever you place a resistance or a support in a weekly or daily time frame, they will have to, the breakout for each rectangle, meaning support and resistance, will have to be confirmed on the time frame it was placed. For example, I just placed one support in a weekly time frame. So for me to know if this support was broken, all right, let's suppose that this wick start going down, and before 5 p.m., which is the end of today's week, 5 p.m. on a Friday, it goes up and leaves a huge wick like this one. So that would be a closure above our support, okay? If we manage to close underneath at 5 p.m. today, Friday, that will maybe be a breakout. It will be revealed once the market open on a Sunday, okay? Because it can go straight up due to a gap. There's infinite possibilities, okay? We're playing possibilities. So let's go to the daily time frame now. Actually, one thing that I would like to highlight. If we pay attention to the market psychology and GU on that time frame, you can see on a weekly time frame, you can see that we made a lower low, and we went and made a lower high, and we went downwards and made another lower low. But notice that whenever we went higher to make a lower high to continue on a bearish run, we actually went higher than the previous high and made a higher high. So this possible right shoulder to be could be also a higher low. So that would be another confluence for a possible bullish momentum. But that's in a weekly time frame. And you have to remember once more, it takes time to be fulfilled. So now that we are on a daily time frame, okay, we get to see everything more clear. So what I like to do is I copy and paste my rectangle so I don't have to redraw every single one of them. And if you look at the top of this range, you can see that we have rejected a few times around 1.32600. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply place a resistance, okay, whatever I'm comfortable with, and then I'll just place it over there. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3 touches. It acts as a resistance on a daily time frame. Again, daily time frame is reasonable. It's a big time frame as well. So every movement within a daily time frame will take more time to be fulfilled than a 2-hour, and so on and so on. So now you can see that that is small possible inverted head and shoulders on a weekly time frame. It's now pretty big on a daily time frame. So that's the point of going to smaller time frames, so we can filter, you know, smaller movements and profit within the market. Because at this point, we know that with lot sizes, even in a small movement, let's say 25 pips of movement, you can make a lot of money. It all depends on how much money you are willing to risk per pip. You already know that. So do not try to go and catch 200 to 300 pips on a single trade. Instead, be realistic, you know, and like catch 50 to 100 pips per trade and try to build consistency instead of trading twice or 3 times in a month, you know. Again, this is just my opinion. And let's go now to the 4-hour time frame. Let's just take a quick look on the 8-hour time frame, but that's pretty much the daily. Okay, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. We can see that for the past week, GU has been melting, and it's breaking all types of support whatsoever that we can possibly find within this range between 1.29200 and 1.27200 as well. So that this is around 200 pips of a range, and you can see that GU it melted straight downwards. So what I like to do whenever doing my top-down analysis, I don't go unrealistic and place support and resistance all the way up to, I don't know, $2. You know, I keep my tools, my support and resistance, my trend lines next to the price performance. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna place a trend line on an 8-hour time frame that you can see that I can get easily a 2 touches confirmation. And then now that we know that this is a possible inverted head and shoulders on a daily time frame, so this could go higher, right? And if it goes higher, we now have another possible resistance for the price performance to face in order to continue its movement. So that would place us in a better position when it comes to opening and closing trades, stop loss, take profits, and so on. So you can start to draw small support and resistance as well. So what I can see here is I can see a head and shoulders. This is the left shoulder. That was the head, the second touch on the trend line, and you can see that the right shoulder used the moving average as a resistance, okay, and then it melted. So again, we now know that on the head and shoulders, there's our support and resistance that literally, let me change this template. Okay, the support and resist the price. So you can see that now we got another smaller resistance, and that would be a possible resistance for us to touch the trend line together. So you can see that that forms also a lower high precisely, okay? So this will be a lower low point. So if we go higher, that will be a lower high, okay, regarding to this movement, because we have been making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, okay? On the weekly time frame, we were making higher highs and higher lows, so we need to make a higher high. On the 8-hour time frame, we're making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and a possible lower high. If we break this and pass this previous high, that will be a trend reversal, a confirmed trend reversal, okay? So it's always movement within movement, guys. So if I look a little extended to the left, I can see that this area was rejected, okay? There was a rejection as a resistance. And if I go and on the same price range looked a little bit to the right, around 14th of February this year, you can see that it was used as support, the same price range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a resistance, okay? It was a support, but now it should act as a resistance because the price performance has broken through. You can see that we're now trading at 1.2730, and that's around 1.27950. So we have broken that, and that could be a resistance for the price whenever it's trying to go up, if it is to continue. All right, so what I like to do is I like to place 3 to 4 resistance above price performance and 3 to 4 underneath price performance. So we got 2 underneath price performance, so let's try to find extra 2 supports for GU. All right, so we're now in a 4-hour time frame. I'll take a look at this massive area of consolidation, and I can see that we had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches for this area, okay, as support. And then if I look upwards, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 as resistance, and then right here 1 touch as support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place a rectangle on this area and extend it to the future so we can use it in today's price performance. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm extending it to the future, and it should look something like this, okay? It seems small because we are on a 4-hour time frame, but it isn't. So, and another support around there. Again, these are all price ranges, okay? It ain't a exact price, so the market's always fluctuating, and if you miss by a few pips, that's all right. Just try to know your pair to a point that you will know out the support and resistance off your head. Okay, GU is a pair that we have been using for the video series, and it's not one of the pairs that I trade often, but you can see that applying all the tools that you have learned so far, you can still perform your top-down analysis in any given pair and still make money. Okay, so if we go to the 2-hour time frame and take a look at this head and shoulders, you can see that we can even go to smaller time frames and place more and more support and resistance. Okay, right here we could have a small support that support this consolidation range before breaking out. Okay, and notice that before the market continues in the overall direction, for example on this psychological area of now resistance of 1.29213, we broke through, okay, Let me get the brush. So we broke through, and then we retested and rejected using the moving average as well as the resistance, and then we went lower to our next area of support. And in this case, we didn't have a retest, okay? We went straight downward, but I believe that since this is a right shoulders to B, we could start going up, and this could be a possible retest for us to then continue in the overall pair direction. All right, so I guess that will be it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, you know pretty much where to find me. But before I go, let's take a look at USD CAD and AU, a few of my pairs. Okay, you can see that this is still, if you're following our free blog, exclusive content are being posted. I posted USD CAD trade long. Okay, it has been in an overall bullish bias for a little bit, and you can see that it goes up, consolidates, goes up, consolidates. So it's been in a consolidation range for a bit, and I believe that this is still to go higher due to higher highs and higher lows. Okay, now you can see that we are possibly retesting as a support what we broke through. So we were going higher, we broke through 1, 2, 3, two areas of resistance, and now we are retesting both of them in a single candle. Okay, so you can see that whatever you learned is what is being applied, and it's enough for you to profit within the market. Of course, everything and much more tools are given and explained deeper inside our Delta Traders community. But again, you all know that this is an introductions to all the content available there. So if you have any questions, hit me up. I will be more than happy to help you. And this will be pretty much it for this video, guys. Peace.